Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Ellie's Culture Craving. On my StudyTube channel, a few months ago, probably I think it was last summer, I made a video about all the ways in which The Big Bang Theory and Friends are the same. But I think I spoke more about specific events and specific episodes which are basically identical. And today I'm gonna sort of step back, as this is my first video on this channel, and give you sort of more obvious links between the two shows. And so I'm specifically talking about how all the characters are kind of the same and all the places are kind of the same, and how the different dynamics all interlink. And we're basically watching the same show with a couple of differences. So the main plot of Friends, the first episode, is that Ross, the nerdy sort of academic guy, fancies the really pretty dizzy girl that's moving in across the hall. Now the main plot of The Big Bang Theory is that the nerdy academic guy falls in love with the ditzy girl who moves in across the hall. That's literally the main plot of both of these series. Now Penny and Rachel have very similar plot lines. So basically, neither of them really have a plan for a successful career. Penny wants to be an actress, which I'm going to come on to again later, because Penny's kind of two characters rolled into one. So she kind of is a bit different to Rachel. However, at the start of the show, they both have nothing. They have no sort of solid ground. They are just kind of filling time. Whereas by the end of the show, Rachel's very successful and so is Penny. Penny is leading a pharmaceuticals sales team under Bernadette. And Rachel is a very successful fashion lady. We're not really sure what Rachel does, but we know she's involved in fashion in some way, and she's quite successful and respected. And at the end of the show, she has an opportunity to go to Paris. There will be spoilers in these videos. I feel like I should mention that. So they're both exactly the same. Ross and Leonard, I'm going to come on to these characters in other videos, but basically they don't change in the entire 10 or 12 seasons. Like, they are just pretty static as the main character. And no one questions this. No one questions about the fact that they basically don't change at all. They have exactly the same personality. They don't really learn any lessons, and they stick with the same desires even when they don't make any sense. And I don't know, I just don't think they grow that much. So they kind of share a lot of those same patterns. Now, Raj is very similar to Chandler in many ways. I mean, I think they're very different characters, and obviously The Big Bang Theory is much more modern. They both have the slightly camp male friend who is often mistaken for being gay, and there are often lots of jokes made about both of these characters about their feminine sides. What else can I say? So obviously both shows, the main space is one of the apartments. So in Friends, it's Rachel and Monica's apartment. In The Big Bang Theory, it's Sheldon and Leonard's apartment. Now, in The Big Bang Theory, most of what they do is eat. It's like, most of the show is just watching them have takeaways and talk, I swear. I'm really dissing these shows. I love them. I watch them all the time. It's literally like 90% of my life. However, I do realise that they're not exactly very sophisticated. In Friends, same thing, but not really the eating. The eating and stuff takes place in Central Perk. Now, in The Big Bang Theory, it took me a while to think about this, like where their Central Perk is, but now that I know, it seems so obvious. So basically, The Big Bang Theory Central Perk is the comic book store. It's the place where they go, they talk, they chill out. A lot of really instrumental events happen here. Oh god, they even have a Gunther. So basically in Friends there's Gunther who works at Central Perk, and he's kind of involved in the friends' lives, but he's never actually considered one of them. He's just kind of a weirdo who exists in their lives. Stuart is the same in The Big Bang Theory. I always feel really bad for Stuart as a character and the guy who plays Stuart, because I think Stuart is a really big role in The Big Bang Theory, and yet he's given almost no credit. He's never invited to events, and he's not listed as a main character in any sense, but he's in most of their episodes. But he plays the exact same role as Gunther. He's not really instrumental to their lives at all, and it doesn't really change. He's just kind of there for a lot of the time, and he often feels left out of things, and they play the same comic role. Now obviously there are some things that Big Bang Theory does different, like Amy and Sheldon are very different to Friends. Amy and Sheldon bring the weirdness into The Big Bang Theory, the delightful weirdness about them. They're very unique characters. They're my favourite. I love them, and I will probably do many videos on why they are the best bit of The Big Bang Theory. Other characters. Oh yes! I was going to talk about Penny and Joey. So they don't really have a Joey in The Big Bang Theory, or so I thought, until I really thought about it. And Penny, whilst being Rachel, is also Joey. So Joey is aspiring to be an actor. He's constantly failing. He always has no money, and he's always taking food from the owners of the big apartment. Penny is aspiring to be an actress, but she's never very successful, and she never has any money, and she's always struggling, and she always steals the food from the guys, and she's always mooching off of them, basically. So they again share that same role. And all of these similarities just make me think about comedy, and how perhaps these different roles are just what we expect in a comedy. Now, we haven't really talked about Howard and Bernadette, but I guess they play the same part in the show as Chandler and Monica. They're the most grounded couple in some ways. They are the most mature, same as in Friends. Monica and Chandler are the first to go and have children, to get married, to get a house. Even though Ross and Rachel are deemed by most people as the main characters of Friends, I actually think Chandler and Monica go a long way. They actually drive a lot of the plot. For the first few series it was all Ross and Rachel, and Monica and Chandler's not even a thing. But once they're a thing, they are the main thing. Once they're put together, it's their marriage where other stories take place, and it's their decision which actually ends the show. So I think that they're so instrumental. This is not the same in The Big Bang Theory. In The Big Bang Theory, I would say that couple is Sheldon and Amy. They share the same kind of trajectory. We don't really care about Howard and Bernadette's wedding, I don't think, in the same way we do about Sheldon and Amy. I think we're a lot more emotionally invested in them and what they do than Bernadette and Howard. I think they're perhaps more like Phoebe, maybe in Friends, in the sense that we care and it's interesting and it's cute, but it doesn't make us scream and like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. It's not quite the same thing. It was always gonna happen. With Sheldon and Amy, it's like a what if, and we're just waiting for their big moments in the show, and I feel like they're the ones we're most excited for. I mean, Leonard and Penny in the show, once they're properly together, there's nothing interesting about them, and the show talks about that a lot. Like, there's an episode where they're basically talking about things they've done that year to write for a Christmas letter, and they can't think of anything because they're not very interesting characters. Together as a couple, oh my god, this is a whole different video that I am going to go into, but as a couple they don't do that much, so they're not that interesting. So yeah, basically Sheldon and Amy and Monica and Chandler share that same sort of the drive in the plot, whereas Leonard and Penny, I don't think they do, not in the same way. I think their relationship on and off kind of exists in the background. I think the true love stories, the happy endings and stuff, exist within Sheldon and Amy and Chandler and Monica, so I think they're kind of the same. I think they try and make Bernadette and Howard a lot like Chandler and Monica, in the sense that Monica was always really high driven, and she liked her space really tidy. They had a lot of OCD jokes basically about Monica, about her being really overly perfectionist, and basically about her running Chandler's life, and Chandler's the really immature one. And I think they try and do that in The Big Bang Theory with Bernadette and Howard, except I think they really fail with it. I think it really draws on really bad female stereotypes, and it's just kind of okay. Like, Bernadette complains all the way through that show about the way Howard treats her like his mother, and nothing's ever done about it. Howard is never forced to acknowledge the way he treats her as just some wife who he can do nothing, and he's helping her out. And I think it really pushes those stereotypes in a way that you really wouldn't expect a 21st century show to do. But I think they try and do the same thing. I just don't think they're very successful. It's not funny, I don't think, in The Big Bang Theory when Bernadette is running around being Howard's mum. Those are some parallels in the show. I hope you guys enjoyed my first-ish kind of video. If you have any more video ideas like this, leave them in the comments. I'll be drawing on these shows a lot over the next however long I do this channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.